Good afternoon to you. Mark Sutton with HurricaneTrack.com, talking about Tropical Storm Elsa this afternoon. I am not going to be on the camera right now. I just got up a little while ago. Yes, I slept in because I was working until about 6 o'clock in the morning, setting up cameras, and I look like I've been run over by a truck. And Elsa is the more important thing, so we'll just skip looking at me. All right, so let's go over what's going on as of the 11 o'clock advisory. Air pressure is pretty high here, 1,007 millibars. That's not going to get it done in terms of a major wind event. However, there are some winds gusting to 60, 70 miles per hour. I just saw that from some Key West observations. So Elsa is a tropical storm, but it's a little bit lopsided, maybe even a lot lopsided. I'll show you what that means and what that's all about in just a moment. I think the key thing is here it's going to dump a lot of rain. And we can see that in the rainfall forecast here. And that rainfall could lead to some river flooding down here. Urban flooding, people driving on the interstates, any secondary roads, you name it. Flooding could be an issue. 3 to 5, maybe locally 8 inches of rain in some locations. Then the other issue, of course, is going to be storm surge. And that's going to be problematic in these areas from Indian Pass all the way down to the Florida Keys, especially where you have onshore flow, where the wind is blowing onshore, especially where it really piles it up efficiently in any of these little bay areas. Then you're going to have higher storm surge. I say bay areas, I mean like concave shapes. And certainly Tampa Bay is concave shaped, but up here towards Cedar Key, Horseshoe Beach, and then up near St. Mark's, those areas, if the wind can really push the water up there, onshore flow, that is the big key here. And then as Elsa goes by, you have onshore flow coming off the Atlantic. That could give you some increased water levels on the Atlantic side. So Elsa's going to have impacts for a lot of people. It is not a major problem overall, not like a big hurricane coming. You know this, I don't need to tell you this, but I'm just putting your mind at ease. Yes, it is a tropical storm. No, it's not a hurricane yet. It could reach hurricane strength, but I have my doubts. But that word is just a label that we give it for classification purposes. You need to be thinking about impacts and storm surge, flooding rain, the possibility for a few isolated tornadoes. All of that's part of the overall package, all right? So here's a great tweet here from Philippe that he's watching Tropical Storm Elsa from the Key West radar. It's looking a little bit better organized, he says. I guess there were some problems with the hurricane hunters not being able to take off while I was sleeping, but they've been able to do so, and they're going to get out there and check out the storm over the next few hours. So hopefully for the 2 p.m. intermediate advisory, we will have information updated on Elsa. So let's take a look now at the tracking map here from the HurricaneTrack Insider site, and I'm going to show you how you can access this in a minute. First of all, you see this is going to impact a huge geographic area. What started off the coast of Africa as a tropical wave, moved all the way across. Now it's sitting here, and the eventual end game, if you will, is going to be up across eastern North America. Pretty remarkable, but that remarkability comes with consequences and impacts. So here's the track. We already looked at that from the National Hurricane. Well, I don't know if we did or not, but whatever. Here's the track on our tracking map anyway. And you can see, just looking at the center line of the cone of uncertainty, and the cone just means where the center is supposed to be most of the time. It doesn't tell you about impacts. We already looked at that this entire region through here could see storm surge. All of this area through here could see very heavy rain, gusty winds, maybe some isolated tornadoes, as I mentioned. So now think about where this ends up, and let's zoom in, and we think, this goes counterclockwise with its rotation. So yes, some of these areas, Charlotte Harbor, Tampa Bay, and then potentially up here closer to Cedar Key, Homosassa, Crystal River. It's all going to depend on the track, because if you shift this just a little bit more to the west even, then this whole area up here catches a lot of onshore flow with the water piling up, and then as it goes by here, any of these bands that can really get in and push the water into Tampa Bay, that could be problematic. And as such, we have camera systems set up as well as a weather station to monitor all of this right here on this interactive map. Some of these are permanent cameras, like this one up in the Orange Park area. This is from one of our supporters, Michael and his wife Kristen. They are some of our crowdfunding supporters, so they have a camera set up in their yard so we can see what's going on there. But we also bring with us these remotely operated cameras, and as I drill down, you can see this is Horseshoe Beach, and this is the view that we have from there. I am expecting this potentially to come up if the track favors it with onshore flow. You need the wind to push the water this way to get storm surge. That's how it happens. And if that happens, we could see a water rise here of maybe as much as 5 feet, and maybe some higher waves on top of that. That would cover up these docks here and flood well underneath where we have the camera set up. Farther to the south, over in one of my favorite areas, awesome people to work with there, the fire chief, Robert Robinson, if I can say his name right, and we met another gentleman down there, a police officer, Roger, just incredibly generous with their time and willingness to let us put equipment up. What does the equipment show? Well, here we have dual cams set up. One of the first times that we've ever done this. We'll wait for the bottom one to populate. Sometimes nest takes a couple of extra minutes. But this camera here, the top camera, is facing to the southeast, and if this one ever decides to load, maybe it's just having bandwidth issues, it faces that restaurant that's over there in Cedar Key, and it was very famous, if you will. Maybe infamous is a better word. I'm going to trick it, maybe toggle it again to pop up. There it is. See? It works. That's the restaurant that was made famous in Hurricane Hermine when it pushed a sizable storm surge up and actually broke off a huge piece of dock and walkway, wooden walkway, and it hit our camera that we had at the time. Not expecting anything like that, hopefully, but nevertheless, we've got cameras to monitor this in Cedar Key, and then out on the bridge there, we do have our weather station. This is the first time that I've ever deployed a weather station and had the data coming in on the interactive map. I'm very, very excited about this. I'm real proud of this project. This updates in real time, and you see the wind is 11 miles per hour. There's the pressure, 1019 millibars. So we'll see how low the pressure gets with Elsa. Maybe the center comes right over this location. We'll see. And of course, we have the camera system looking at the weather station so we can watch it. I think that will be really interesting. We've never done that before. So a new sort of scope of how we're doing this project for Elsa. Moving down the coast, we have a camera set up along the Courtney Campbell Causeway. This flooded. Oh, look at that rain band out there. Isn't this just amazing? I love this, being a weather geek. Nice rain shaft. This flooded pretty significantly over onto the causeway during Ada last year, a November tropical storm that was weakening as it went by, and we got surge from Ada last year. So we'll have to see what Elsa does. This area could see 3 to 5 feet of storm surge. We'll have to just wait and see. It's all about the track, the intensity, how the onshore flow sets up. But these are our cameras that we have along the area. Another one of our supporters, this is Jeff and the Sisk family there in the Bradenton area. This is one of our permanent cameras. It's as still as can be, no wind to speak of. And then CJ, one of our supporters, along with Marcel, set up a camera for us down in Minnesota Key in the Inglewood area, looking out at the Gulf. A little bit of swells rolling in there. Not too bad. A little bit of rain coming in too. And I'm staying out here near Sarasota, out near, what is it, Bee Ridge or something like that. I'm at a hotel down in the Sarasota area close to the interstate, and I'm going to be leaving here after I shut my yapper and post this video for you guys and put up some more cameras up in this area. This is where I'm most concerned for impacts from Elsa. So we're going to put out a couple more cameras there after I'm done with this. So first, real quick, nice loop from Mark Nissenbaum at Florida State University showing Elsa as it moves up. The center of circulation way out here on the southwest side. It's lopsided, meaning that it's not symmetrical. There's no appreciable weather on the west side. But look, what's on the east side? Florida. And you all, millions of people, Heavy rain, gusty wind, storm surge, we've talked about it. Just be careful out there, especially if you're driving. Driving a vehicle, you may not be caught if you're speeding by the law, as they say, but you cannot avoid the laws of physics. And that, I'm not trying to make dad jokes. That's true. Please, please be careful out there, all right? If you're driving, that can be very problematic. Looking real quick at the GFS from the 12Z run, this is the 6-hour average precipitation rate, which gives us a little bit of an idea of how the heavy rainfall shapes up, and it gives us the GFS interpretation of the pressure down at the surface. So moving this forward, this would be valid pretty much an hour from now. So at 2 p.m. this afternoon, the GFS is suggesting a pressure of 1001 millibars, 1001 millibars. So that's about 6 millibars lower than what it is currently, according to the Hurricane Center. So we'll see. By this evening, still holding at about 1001, and then it starts to weaken after that, probably because of some shear. I would imagine maybe some dry air. Not very symmetrical looking. The GFS painting a pretty heavy band coming in tomorrow morning. So the rush hour tomorrow morning for Tampa Bay, not going to be pretty. And this finally comes inland tomorrow afternoon. And by tomorrow evening, when the Lightning try to win the Stanley Cup in Tampa, not too much in the way of worries, maybe some leftover tail action, as we call it. The tail of these storms comes in, and you might have some residual rain showers. But the worst of Elsa will be far away from Florida and Tampa as the Tampa Bay Lightning try to finally bring the Stanley Cup to the Bay. They just got to win one more time, right? And they got it. I don't follow hockey that much, but I do know about that. All right, so you can access all the stuff that I showed you on that interactive map, plus much, much more through our crowdfunding project here. This is how we pay for it. It's through Patreon, and we tie it into our HurricaneTrack Insider site, and you do all of that. It's very easy. Just become a member. Sign up if you're capable and in the position to do so at patreon.com/HurricaneTrack. And these are the different tiers. $10 a month, you get access to everything I showed you. $25 a month, I'll send you one of our exclusive paper tracking maps. And when we do our Zoom chats for our $25 tier supporters, you get to join in on that. We kind of do an Ask Me Anything session. And by the way, that tracking map, I have a few of them left. Those are available too. HurricaneTrack.com/trackmap. I send you one of these at no additional cost if you become a $25 patron. It's amazing, a real paper tracking map. I know we've got this incredible interactive map, and this is awesome for online, but you can't beat a paper map. I mean, they're the old school, and that's how I got started in all of this almost 30 years ago. Hard to believe. Story for another day. All right, let me get this online for you guys, and then I'm going to head out. I'll have the vehicle cam on. That will be on YouTube, available free of charge. We don't even put any commercials on it. No monetization. We want to share as much as we can with the public, and we use our Patreon and HurricaneTrack Insider connections to fund what we do, and I really appreciate all the support from everybody. We've picked up several new supporters down here in Florida for this event, and that means an awful lot to myself and the hard-working crew. You all know who you are to make this possible. I am Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. I'll see you from the vehicle out there in Florida for the rest of the day.